Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Live. Now, my next guest is Ronald Avaji, and today we will be speaking about National Blood Donor Month. Now, this is a very crucial topic of National Blood Donor Month because his wealth of knowledge in the wellness space promises to bring an important perspective to this vital conversation. As we mentioned before going to an ad break, there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths, a lot of miseducation around the topic of blood donor and donating blood in general, and why we do it for society and why is it important to keep having conversations like these. And Ronald will share his insight and knowledge on this. Jazakallah so much and welcome to Prime Life. Thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure being with you.
Jazakallah. So now, can you tell us about how would you encourage people who are hesitant about blood donations?
This is something that is so important, but it's so real. Many people have a fear of donating blood. It's either a fear of what happens to the blood, or the number one thing, it's a fear of needles to donate the blood. And do you know that 1 in 4 people globally have a fear of needles? Even doctors and nurses have a fear of needles. And once you cross that hurdle, and you endorse the altruism impact of what donating blood could be, helping people in dire need of it, it could actually help balance out how we could get people to actually donate blood a bit more. So we know that there's different organs that you can donate, but blood in particular is needed every day in this country. And we know that in winter, there's a shortfall of blood supply. The reason is because people are sick, people are ill, they're not going out as much, and also they think, who's going to stick a needle in my arm to donate blood in cold weather? It's going to be painful. So how would I encourage people to donate blood is to say to you that whatever your fear is, whatever the barrier is, it takes 10 seconds to put that needle in, and in 10 minutes you could save a few lives. Donating blood saves lives.
I think I was about to say, can you take us through the process of what actually happens during the donation of blood so that we can put ease into the minds of people that are scared to actually do it? What is the process? What does it look like?
I actually went the other day to go and observe it, because where we are as a studio, the SANBS, National Blood Services, are down the road. So it's very simple. You first register. And the reason you register is because they build a depository of all of those that are registered and who you are, what's your blood type, when last you donated blood, etc. And where you donated blood. That's important because you look at the different blood types, and ideally everyone wants a universal blood type, donor and receiver, which is O negative, but that's only 7% of the population. So you often look at what are the different blood types, because when you're having a transfusion or blood is needed, you need to actually identify that so the body doesn't reject it. The second thing that you do is go through a questionnaire. So they go through a health questionnaire with you to identify, do you have any pre-existing conditions, chronic conditions, are you on any medications, etc. You then do a health screening, which at its baseline is really looking at your blood pressure and of course your heart rate. And then you sit in this amazing chair or you lie down on a plinth. The needle goes in 10, don't pull your face like that, Aisha. It goes in for 10 seconds and in 10 minutes you've donated blood.
Yeah.
And what then happens is the process after that takes about another 50 minutes, but that happens behind the scenes in the labs with the machines where they screen all the blood. They screen for HPV, they screen for HIV and other autoimmune conditions and other conditions as well. And then, of course, if the blood passes those quality assurance tests, it then gets on its normal cold chain and processing storage processes.
That's very interesting, and I think maybe people are scared of it. I know the purpose of this interview is to put your mind at ease, but I'm just trying to understand why people are scared of doing it. Maybe the whole idea of having to go through tests, South Africans don't like to test for anything. So having the idea of saying, I walk in and I'm healthy, and next thing they're taking tests and running tests, and I find out that I have a high blood, what going on. But hopefully, inshallah, after this conversation, they'll see it from a different perspective. Now, let's talk about the common misconceptions around, blood donation, and how can we clear them so that we can or we can have more donors around?
Well, number one is that after you donate blood, you become anemic. That's not the reality. We know that there are periods which we can cycle blood donation. So a man can donate every 8 weeks, and a woman, obviously, depending on your menstrual cycle and how heavy your menstrual flow is, that could be a bit longer in duration. The second thing is that when you donate blood, you're not giving 50% of your blood away. You're literally giving, for lack of a better phrase, a pint or slightly less thereof, and then of course they filter it. You might feel a little bit lightheaded, but you're not going to become anemic. That's the number one thing. And the second thing that we look at is, oh my goodness, I don't have the time, and it is sore. And earlier you and I debunked that. 10 seconds to put the needle in, even less. I mean, good nurses, 3 seconds, before you know it.
Yes.
And yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it's a bit of a pinch. But do you know that 60% of people that follow deep breathing actually follow through when they have a fear of needles? So here's a trick. It's slightly painful for 3 seconds, but 10 minutes you're done if your blood is pumping okay. You looked away, deep breaths, in the needle goes, focus on a podcast or something else, read a book, do something constructive, or sit there and meditate, or dhikr, and then from there, in 10 minutes, you're done.
Yeah. And tell us, how much blood do they take from you? And also, how often can you donate?
So you're looking at about a pint of blood, so, 500 mils plus, all depending. I mean, I went
500 mils.
It's not so bad, man. 250 mils, 500 mils, depending on you, and also
That's a
depends.
cup, right?
Yeah, they fill those little chassis up. It's okay. Hey, did they tell you we're having blood donation now? They're coming in. Are you ready? We're doing a practical. See, Aisha got flushed. So what we do is, when we look at the blood donation, one is, let's look at the frequency. Because often, even if your blood doesn't pump a lot, so I went in and I saw a couple of people, their blood wasn't pumping, the machine was beeping. They got them to hold the stress ball, squeezing the stress ball, and the blood still wasn't pumping. And there's a couple of reasons for that. So blood is very viscous. So if you're not hydrated enough, or if you had too much coffee before you go in, or you're not having enough iron, or you're highly stressed, etc., the blood might not pump a lot, but they use every drop and they test every drop. So please, it does not go to waste. Please know that. The second thing is, men 8 to 10 weeks, women a bit longer than that, all depending on your menstrual cycle and the type of flow that you have, but also to be aware of any pre-existing chronic conditions you may have. And that is something we need to be aware of. And then, of course, a lot of people do it frequently. And they do it frequently because, you know why? They feel like they're adding value to the world because they know that that blood is saving a life. And you don't realize the value of donating blood. Even if it's 100 ml, 250 ml, or 500 ml, you don't know the value of that blood until you are in the hospital and you need it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And in terms of people that donate or people that want to donate blood, what advice would you have for them in terms of how can they stay healthy or be, optimally, physically good, in good condition, so that they are ready to donate to those who are in need?
So the SANBS does not preclude chronic conditions. Yes, you might ask me about autoimmune conditions like HIV and AIDS, and that, of course, you have to declare, and it's a no-no for certain of them. But when you look at high blood pressure, chronic asthma, chronic hypertension, which is high blood pressure, and cholesterol, they often look at, it's not about the condition or the illness, it's about the medication, where it becomes more important to identify what is that doing in your system and body, how much medication are you then on. But that happens in, of course, the screening process that they go through with you. So when I went to go actually donate blood. I had a bit of a chest issue because of my postnasal drip, and they said, hold on till that clears. And I was okay with that. So I am going in the next week or two to donate blood. The next thing that we look at is, you've got to look at iron-rich foods, because we know that donating blood, there's a lot of iron in the blood, hemoglobin, and you want to have a lot of iron-rich foods before you donate, and of course after you donate. You want to be properly hydrated and not have caffeine 24 hours, I would say, not 24 hours, I would say at least 8 hours before, and of course 8 hours there afterwards, and just hydrate.
So the only precaution that one should take while going in to donate blood is that you're going to feel dizzy afterwards. Is that the only thing that happens?
It depends. I've donated blood
before. So there are
before,
other side effects.
and I felt nothing. So it just depends on you. If you have a fear of needles, obviously you're going to be hyperventilating, you need to calm down. You might feel a little bit lightheaded, not because of the donation of the blood, because of your breathing that was erratic. So you might find a bit of a bruise where the puncture was, where they put the needle into the arm and insert the needle. You might find a bit of discomfort within that for maybe a few hours or a day or two thereafter. But there's really no major side effects that happen when you donate blood, Aisha. When are we going, Aisha?
Inshallah, very soon. I think I'm getting very motivated, but I think I might also need blood myself. But in terms of just the importance, or highlighting the importance of donating blood. It's good for community. It's a good act of community service. But let's also speak or highlight the importance of it, that it's not only about community also. I think it's a spiritual act of building communities also. So let's highlight on that so that people that are watching right now, likes of myself also, can, consider it.
So when I look at well-being, I look at well-being in three components. Personal well-being, what fills and fuels you, things that you are in control of. I then look at working well-being, because if you're working, you're dealing with issues that could impact you, but also issues that you are dealing with could impact your work. And then I look at social well-being. What's happening in the world impacts me as well. So when I look at donating blood, there's a massive effect of giving back to the world. Many of us question, how do we give back? In Islam, we look at zakah, we look at a lot of other issues or areas of donating. But this is one where giving of blood saves a life and can save a life. Giving blood gives a life an opportunity when it is needed. And that is very much linked into that fulfillment of meaning, essence, and purpose. So my core value in my life is to give value. And that is one of the ways I could give value, because what's more valuable than giving a person a chance at living because of my blood?
That is so beautiful, Ronald. I really enjoyed today's conversation, and inshallah, I will consider. And I hope my brothers and sisters watching right now who were scared, or if they had some doubts or misconceptions around the issue, have cleared up the air, and inshallah, they will go and benefit people. Like you said, there's someone that might or needs. There's always someone that needs blood. So this is an act of service to community and to humanity at large. So, Ronald, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Viewers at home, this was such an amazing conversation, and I really, really do that you will consider doing the right thing. But without wasting time, let's go to a quick ad break. Maimuna still has an amazing conversation coming up right after this. Stay tuned.